Never built it.
RuCKuS TRuK Part 3. Awesome.
3.
Glad to be here doing this. We got back from Hot Rod Power Tour last week. Was awesome.
It was a great week. Anytime you can start and go off and drive 1,400 miles on a build that's fairly fresh and no problems, that's a win in our book.
It worked out really well.
The
weather was super awesome. All the venues were nice. The only thing I could say that was slightly problematic was Z-Max, but we still had a good time even with that.
Getting in there was a nightmare. There were too many traffic lights. And
but hey, it was great.
But this idea of problems with a build, right? This is a good segue into this video, because it's about when we first got the RuCKuS TRuK going, and the first drive, and there's always going to be problems.
We did a couple of drives around the yard, and of course that's never a real test as to what's going on. We took it to get gas.
Right. We were like, okay, so let's go. We already knew it ran great. We let it sit there and run, the fans kick on, and all that. But driving, one of the first things we noticed is when we first got it was the rear end was a basket case. And so that saga continues, or continued. Actually, it does continue.
It does continue.
We'll talk about that later. But yeah, so the first thing though we noticed was we're going to talk about the fuel line, or do you want to talk about the
well, actually, we'll just we've actually got decent footage of that right there.
Right, there you go. So you get to watch that, and then we'll talk about the other stuff.
What happened?
Well, I smell gasoline really strongly and it died.
Yeah, I can smell it too.
So I don't really want to crank it up without knowing what that is. And it was making a loud whining noise.
Yeah, I could hear that.
You could hear it?
Yeah.
But it felt great.
I'm gonna pull in over there behind you.
Okay.
We discovered our problem. The fuel line popped off the main supply to the rail there, and in classic redneck fashion, we have a coat hanger.
We just happen to have one.
Yep. It was already taken out of the shape of a coat hanger, and obviously
it's been used for a tool before
because it's been tied together somehow.
Oh, there's two coat hangers.
Yep, two. It's served a purpose before.
Yeah, we won't talk about that.
No, I don't know what it was.
I do.
Oh, you do? Oh, I think I know this one too.
Yeah, you know it too.
Nothing like a roadside fix.
That's right. Okay, so this. Okay, so let's see here. Now, oh man.
Well, also we know now you smell fuel, you just shut it off right away.
Yeah, well, I didn't even have the chance to shut itself off, so.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, man, you coasted a long ways.
Oh, yeah, no, that was pretty interesting, wasn't it?
Yeah. I was like, he's kind of under partial power?
No, I was not under any power at all. I guess that speaks to the efficiency of the chassis. Okay, so if I do this. The weather's beautiful, the mosquitoes are bad.
Yes, bastard. Suck on that, you jerk.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
Let me crank it back up.
Yeah, out of gear.
So that should have leaked right there. Yeah, I had to coast a long way out of gear.
Okay. No leaks.
All right. We should be okay.
Yep.
All right. Might back up a little bit, but I don't know.
Put them both over there? Nope. Oh, there it is. Yeah, don't worry about me.
So anyway, after fixing the fuel line issue, which we're really glad it didn't burn down, which we do always try to keep a fire extinguisher in a building. It's just good. It's 20 bucks. Go to Walmart, get you one of those marine style fire extinguishers, keep it under the seat. It will save you thousands if you ever have a problem.
Yeah. Used to, we never.
We didn't do that,
Yeah, but you know, we started considering thinking, like, you know what, a fire extinguisher is probably a good idea.
It's a great idea. So,
I think it started with lemons when we were racing lemons.
Yeah, and then now it's just a fixture of every new build. And thankfully, we haven't had a major fire. But
hey man, yeah. Let's just stop talking about it. Let's stop talking about
so
that.
Look, so we get the fuel system situated, right? And then the first thing we notice is that we're driving around, and it sounds like the freaking Death Star. No, it sounds like a TIE fighter.
Yeah.
It's this terrible, horrible shriek. And we're like, okay, so the only thing we can do is take apart the rear end, and boy, what a mess it was.
Yeah.
The only reason it didn't explode into a million pieces is because with a full floater, you actually kind of have those, it almost acts like a bridge, and the carrier bearings were completely gone.
Gone.
I mean, like, gone. It's amazing, honestly, that it didn't just frag into a million pieces, but we got it up on the lift, we find that out, and the whole thing's trashed. Thankfully, due to our, so a few years ago we did a copy of the Hot Wheels Real Riders Red Bronco. You might have watched the video we did about that. It ended up going overseas to Austria to a buyer. But that truck was so difficult, was so bad to drive on the street because it had 456 gears, and so we had this 456 front end and this 456 chunk with a locker, and we're like, okay, well, we know where we can fix this problem. And so, all right, finally we got this thing all buttoned up, and let's take it for a test drive. And you know, the thing was all completely put together, but we just hadn't painted it yet. But we're, if you're ever driving along, especially if it's a fresh build, you're like, what was that noise?
Yeah.
So
the smallest noise. You're like, oh,
yeah.
what was that?
Right. Well, this was not a small noise. This was something we heard and felt. So we're coming around a corner, and it sounded like you dropped the kitchen sink out of the back of this truck, and it goes,
yeah.
And I'm like, what was that? What did we leave underneath there? And we didn't know. Yeah. And we didn't know for a week. So we get it back on the lift.
Wait a minute. There's something missing here.
Right.
And the spring had actually popped out of its pocket. It wasn't tethered.
Yeah.
It was just sitting in there. It's fine, but
one of the cool things about a NASCAR chassis is you've got these jacks at all four. You get spring jacks at all four corners, and so we've been playing around with the spring jacks to get the ride height that we wanted, and we'd done two things. We had left the rear a little too loose to get it lower, and the second thing we've done is if you're gonna have it loose at all, you better tether the spring in some way. Anyway, so we lost that. I still don't know where that spring is.
No, we went back and looked for it.
We happen to have another. So
because a noise like that, you know exactly where it happened.
Yeah, I know exactly. We're going around a corner, and basically that's what it was. It unloaded just slightly, and the spring came out. Oh, and then we, of course, when we got on the lift, and we found the spring was missing. We also found the big dent.
Yeah, in the pan that we'd made.
And the diffuser. Yeah.
Diffuser. Yeah.
So yeah, so that you just mentioned splitter too. So I guess you want to talk about that now, or
Yeah, you know what? We didn't really cover that.
we didn't talk about that before.
Yeah.
So if you remember, let's see, what was the last time we talked about the Corvette splitters? When was the last time?
No, I don't.
There's been another video. Anyway,
just
well,
introduce it because it's been
some
so
years
long.
ago, we were looking at creating maybe some ground effects, and we're talking about sill extensions and a splitter. And we had a C5 Corvette at the time, and
We
so
developed a wide body kit.
still do. We actually made a wide body kit. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really cool actually.
But at the same time, we were like, okay, let's go ahead and do a splitter too. And so we bought ABS, and we came up with this really cool design. Cut a bunch of them out, and then we didn't do anything with it, except for some reason in the last 3 builds,
We used this.
we had this bag. We had all these prototypes, and we're like, let's just use one of those. And we put it up there. Oh yeah, that works great.
Yeah,
So
it
sure
works
enough,
out.
on this OBS, we put this ABS splitter that we had cut for a C5. I was like, wow, that looks pretty sweet.
Yeah.
And so we made a framework for it to attach, and so yeah, that splitter is the only thing on the front of the truck besides stock pieces. So the very front, you got your, which we like the quad headlights of the 89 90 body style. So we use those. We got the stock grill, stock bumper, stock spoiler, and then we have the splitter with the little canards. So that was one of those features that it's this juxtaposition again of the total factory look, but now you got these box flares and a splitter.
Yeah. It's awesome sauce.
Yeah, it's a great way to sort of play one against the other visually and have something that's fairly striking. But the other part of that then also was we talked about the wide body, but there was a lot of work involved in that. We had to match the wheelbase of the Craftsman truck. And so we're looking at this bedside, and that's the other cool thing about this is we really didn't buy, again, we didn't buy any sheet metal.
Sheet metal.
We didn't use the other donor either. Everything was the one donor. And so when you're doing that, you do have to be careful where you cut, because where you cut is the metal you're using. So
Got to make sure it's straight too.
yes.
Well, it helps tremendously.
Yeah, well, thankfully, the truck, it already had some really good lines to follow. But once again, you make these decisions, you're like, okay, so if you remember on an OBS, you got this nice contour, and then you got a little jut in, and then you got a return,
rail.
and then the top part.
Yeah.
So do you cut it at the bottom of that return, or the top of the return, or where do you? Yeah. So you have to really think these things through if you're not going to use a donor. There's other ones we've done in the past where we added quarters like Translam, and that made the job a lot easier because we can just take and cut out where the wheel, or we don't want it to touch the tire, and then we just cover it. Well, this is different. We wanted to try to use, and the same thing we did on the horse force too. It was just we didn't have another one, or we didn't want to buy another one, so we used. But anyway, so we cut that. We figured it right. We did it. We did choose wisely, and we cut that out. But also, we're like, well, I looked at it, and it was like 4 inches difference in the wheelbase. So we're looking at the side of this thing, and we're like, okay, well, we're not going to use that filler.
No, don't need the filler because the gas, we're using the fuel cell from the Craftsman Series truck in the back, and we can access it through the tailgate.
Right. So that was the perfect place to shorten it. And again, if you ever have we have a friend of ours that likes long beds, and he said every time you shorten a long bed to a short bed, a puppy dies. I'm not sure if that's true. I get where he's coming from, though. I kind of enjoy it. I enjoy the underdog thing of the long bed. Plus, they're so functional. But yeah, so we're like, well, we're cutting this one down. I don't know if we killed the puppy, but what we did do is we cut it right there where that filler was, and I was really hoping it would totally eliminate it. Well, it didn't. It left a little smooth sliver of metal.
So
but we rolled with it.
Yeah, just filled it in.
Yeah, we just
packed
filled it in.
Piece.
But it's not hard to shorten it. Like you were saying, make sure your cut is straight. And if it is, then you match it back up and tack it, and it's really not that hard to shorten a long bed. Not that we're encouraging that kind of thing. But
No, that's we wouldn't.
But the other thing, well, we talked about was the interior of this truck.
Yeah, so it's very Spartan. We've said before, it's a lot like what being in a World War II aircraft is like. It just very thin sheet metal, and it's very loud. It's just It's RuCKuS, man.
I mean, that's why it's called RuCKuS.
Yeah. So there's absolutely no frills on this thing at all. There's no doors. You have to climb in through.
That's my biggest problem with this. I still love to drive it, but no doors. You kind of have to just take a breath. Okay, here we go.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've actually gotten pretty good at it.
Yeah,
we got a couple handholds, and we're not quite Duke boys or good at it, but
no, of course those guys. Well, anyway, so one of the things that we had to figure out on this, because we're going from Craftsman Series truck to a street machine, we need headlights, need tail lights, all that stuff. Need interior lights.
Yeah.
And so that means wiring things up. And what we've got in there currently was a small block, terminal block.
It was basically a race car switch box.
That's all it was. Yeah, thank you. That's an excellent description.
Yeah.
Just a race car switch box. And so
ignition, fan, then start.
Right. That's it.
That's all it was.
That's it. You don't have room for anything else.
Right.
Well, we've got some friends at Ron Francis, and they said, "Oh, what you need is the express kit, right?"
Yeah. So okay, and there's another aspect to this thing. We just mentioned the no doors, right? So if you're gonna wire something, first of all, it's a lot of hunting down and getting the wiring right and figuring out. And if you're wiring something with no doors, especially, but what I'm about to say, what I'm saying is it really just underscores how good the Ron Francis kit was, because everything was there in that box.
Oh yeah, everything's color coded. The description of where it goes, where it plugs in. I mean, it is pretty much idiot proof.
Yeah, we have a clip, I think, of both you and me upside down in this truck with no doors, and it was brutal.
It was.
I mean, that's the best way I could think to describe it. Are we going to play that with sound?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
It's pretty funny. It's your show, man.
Just don't film my fat stomach.
Well,
are you filming it right now?
I'm filming right now, dude. It's up to you.
Oh!
What happened?
I just hurt my back. I mean, the back is in a bind. Ah!
You know what I'm reminded of?
Well, yeah, I know what you're reminded of. I'm reminded of it too. Dude, I gotta get
Are you out yet?
Hell no, I'm not out.
What was that?
Tools. Need some more handles on this thing.
Watch your
I got a
head.
freaking handle.
I mean, I'm afraid that you're gonna really just smash your face in right there.
Yeah, I know, right? Me too.
Ooh, man. I mean, you're like really close. Wow, it's like watching wildebeest give birth.
Well, we're almost there.
Yeah.
Trying to pull my pants off.
Oh, that was the rivet gun. I'm not sure how you did that. All right. It's like liberation, right?
Yes.
Like you didn't realize things could feel that good just standing up.
Yeah. So, what'd I say the distance on this?
2 3/4.
Okay.
Right? Does that sound right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, turn that off. Okay, so Lee is on his second tour of duty in the hole. We're calling this the hole. If you're bad at TredWear, you have to go in the hole. So what we've done here is we've engineered a bracket for the brake switch. They had under-engineered where this thing attaches, and it just didn't have enough throw to fully depress, and there was no adjustability. So we made this drop-down bracket to go right against the pedal, and I think this is going to work. So Lee is going to bolt this thing in, and hopefully that will solve our problem.
Hope so.
And let's see if my 2 3/4 was correct. And it's going to be on the shaft of the pedal now, not the fulcrum.
Yeah, which is much better.
Yeah, right, because you have more movement, first of all.
Okay.
Dropping it down gave us more movement, you know.
Yeah, it looks like I actually need to bend the thing toward the firewall because if I put
Yeah, that's what I was telling you to do.
Oh.
Because you're trying to make up the difference of putting it on the back side as opposed to the front side. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
what do you do with those channel locks? Do you see them?
Yeah, they're very well hidden.
Yeah. It's a very logical place.
All right, so we'll turn this back on when we're done.
Oh, you don't want to see this?
I mean, do you want to
Is
see
this
it?
boring?
I think at this point,
Am I boring you?
I think at this point, I think the production value is starting to diminish.
What? Dang it. I'm sorry.
It's not your fault. It's just the
faster.
situation. It's just the situation.
You're saying I should move faster.
No, I'm not. It's not your fault.
All right, fine. Turn it off.
Okay, bye. It's not statically mounted, and also I've got to peel all this crap off of it. But it's all like I did it so the wires can won't have any sharp edges and.
Yeah. I hear you. All right, now close it. We need to show how it closes.
It's crooked, dang it. I don't want you to get pictures of it. It's going to be under the dash. No one's going to see it. It
It's
works.
important.
That's all that matters.
It's important.
Dang it. Look, I wasn't prepared for you to take pictures of it. I've still got all this plastic on it.
What do you think I'm going to do here?
I don't know. I'm a little embarrassed though, but it worked. I mean, it was a good concept.
No, look, I like this. It's spring loaded right there. Very cool, man.
Okay.
It's very cool.
So it's up in the dash and it at least folds down. And
Yeah.
there you go.
There's the wires going up in there, and it closes.
Closes.
And we still have plenty of room for the wires to go between there, right?
Yeah.
Awesome sauce.
The
Love
lock
it.
key's right inside there. So what'd you think about that? I don't know. I've been born again the right way, but that felt like a secondary way. I don't know.
It was rough. That was very unpleasant. So, and even if we'd had doors on this one, the cage is in the way there.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would
It
have
still would have
helped
been
us.
bad. But the Ron Francis kit, our bright lights, our horn, fans.
Yeah,
I mean,
all of it worked.
Everything's on the block. Everything had the relays right there. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and out of the problems that we've had, that's never been one of them.
Never
at
been a
all.
problem.
No.
Right.
So,
So the rest of the interior, there's a couple of cool things. First of all, when we bought the truck, it already had a buddy seat, which is great because that's what we're always, you got a buddy. Either I'm the buddy and he's driving, or he's the buddy and I'm driving, or somebody else. But that was important. So that was already done for us. What we didn't have is an armrest, and also there's this is like a kill two birds with one stone kind of thing, right?
okay. Oh, yeah. I thought you were about to go off into another story. But yeah, what he's talking about here is the Igloo armrest cooler.
Yeah. So it's hot and it's loud and
You need refreshments.
Right. You need. So my wife's grandfather had left some stuff in his shop that we got to take, and one of the things that he left behind was this really cool, and you've probably seen these before, but it's a cooler that's designed to sit on the seat of your pickup truck, and it was just right because the seats are so low anyway.
Yeah.
And it just sits right there between the seats, and we just love that thing. And it would keep our drinks cold in there, and we could have our be hydrated as we drove. And so that was kind of a cool thing, but it is quite an experience to be in this thing. It does remind me of being in a World War II aircraft.
Yeah, and I guess next week we'll discuss that some more, right? About the driving of it.
Yes.
We took it on Power Tour 21. We took it to the LS Fest show.
Power Tour though, we had to drive to Cleveland.
Yeah, wait a minute.
Just
we
to
don't
start
want to get
it.
into that.
Okay.
We don't want to get into that because we still got to talk about paint
The
too.
paint, that's
so
gonna
we'll
be-
talk about paint next week.
Yeah, next week. The thing about paint too is this: we're going to kind of go into how to do this and do it right. I see a lot of doing it wrong, and
That's really almost a separate video, though.
it kind of is. Right?
Yeah.
But we'll just talk about the delivery then.
Yeah, let's just talk about how we did the paint on this one, and then we should do a video though about
We should.
the correct way
So
to do
next
patina.
video will be about the driving and
the adventures.
The adventures that we had. There were some adventures.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
Indianapolis. We'll talk about Indianapolis. All
Oh
right.
boy, that was. Hey, thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah, thank you so much.